Would have to die of this hydrotherapy.
All right, time to hit up the boys on Discord.
What's up?
All right, Joe, we can start with ECS 36B first.
Great. If I can set my VCR, I should be able to write a C++ method for you.
You mean your VCR that's still blinking 12 o'clock and no one knows what's even wrong with it?
Yeah, it's been flashing 12 for a long time now, but come on, man, I got it to play Titanic without any tracking issues. Who's that now? The stream just jumped away.
Oh my fucking God, Joe. It's not so hard to see the giant button that says watch stream.
Why the fuck are you even here? You're not even relevant anymore, you lardball.
Josh pinged all of us, and I bet he'll need me to help with the code since it looks like a fucking Rubik's Cube that's been scrambled by a toddler. Or worse yet, you.
Hey, I taught computer science at UPenn a few decades ago. I know what I'm doing, man.
There is no record of you teaching at UPenn, and everyone knows it, Crooked Joe. I'd call you Sleepy Joe, but I decided to take Crooked from Hillary and give it to you because, well, she's now even less relevant than I am.
At least she didn't claim her opponent cheated when she lost.
She literally did. Did they indict her for that? I don't think so.
Well, cry about it. I wiped the floor with your fat ass in 2020. And she didn't incite an insurrection against the Capitol and Constitution just because she lost a Democratic election.
Oh, you know, that shit was so rigged. I actually won that election. And you wiped the floor with your own ass at the Air Force Academy graduation.
There was a sandbag, you moron.
Scary to think we're only one sandbag away from Kamala wreaking havoc on this country. Oh, God, now what?
Hey, guys, you want to know what my favorite activity has been since I've left office?
Stealing a bucket of fried chicken, a gallon of Kool-Aid, and a watermelon from Vons?
Fuck you, bitch.
Am I wrong, though?
Man, you know I love all that shit.
Well, that's great. But can we just focus on writing our method here?
All right, homework. You invited Joe for this? I thought I already said, never underestimate his ability to fuck something up.
What the fuck? I thought we were on the same team, man.
You'll be his puppet now, as per usual.
Well, what's the assignment? We'll see about that.
We need to write a program that will get up to 100 integers from a keyfile.txt and write a function that will sort it in ascending order. Then, we need to write a different function that asks the user for an integer to search for in the array using binary sort. The program will stop when the user enters -1.
Keyfile? Surprised it's not Kyiv, since you love throwing our money away to Ukraine so much, Joe. How patriotic of you.
This is coming from the guy who literally pretended to have bone spurs to get out of Vietnam. Plus, you literally sucked on Putin's and Kim Jong-un's balls with our precious intelligence. How patriotic of you. Was your cholesterol bothering you in your 30s, Jabba?
The key file is given, though. We just need to somehow import the separate file into the program.
Oh, fuck this shit. I thought this was supposed to be fun.
It's fine, we can just use infile.
Well, then just use bubble sort. We can find the code for that on the internet and then use some for loops to search for the user entered integer that we'll store in a variable and shit, and boom, we're done.
Forget that. I'm still trying to figure out why it always tells me semicolon doesn't equal semicolon.
What the fuck are you ever even talking about?
I could not even tell you. During the lecture, I just played Minecraft on my laptop with my external mechanical keyboard.
Oh, so that's you making all that ruckus. I thought someone brought a damn typewriter to class.
So there is given code for bubble sort, but the problem is, it's not the most efficient sorting algorithm. I'm not sure why we're even meant to use it, but it's pretty straight shot anyway. We just use a nested for loop, an array named ARR, and a new temp variable. Essentially, every new value bigger than the last will bubble up to the top.
That was a lot of words.
I miss just being able to speak publicly where everyone will just jerk me off no matter how little sense anything I say makes.
Oh, but when I do the same thing, it's suddenly wrong.
It seems that the A in Donald doesn't stand for accountability. At least I don't sound like a raving lunatic during my speeches. I wouldn't make fun of my public speaking if I were you. You'd be throwing stones from a glass house, my guy.
While you guys were arguing, I managed to finish it.
Oh, well, can I still get the credit? You know, I helped and all. Trump, you got that? Put it on. Trump. Trump, did you miss it? Right, Trump.
We're submitting source code, not a document.
Speaking of the source code, what is that using namespace STD you've got there? Why the hell do you have an STD? Has Bill been visiting you?
I heard that, Donald.
How the fuck did you hear that before you even joined the call?
To answer your question, Monica came over last night and her deep crevice of a throat knocked a sixth sense into me.
Well, you're the comp sci nerd here, Bill. Why don't you help?
Well, you're a little late to help on the bubble sort method.
Well, does it run?
It's a shocker you don't know, Donald. No one in your family runs.
At least no one in my family has raped anyone before.
Okay, Donnie, should I get you your Tic Tacs in case you get a little too excited?
Unlike Donnie, I don't need Tic Tacs because I actually have Riz. At least I didn't get banned from the literal internet because I'm a sore loser, you jackass.
Are we still on the locker room talk thing anymore?
Why am I friends with so many rapists?
Did you say rapists or racists?
In Donnie's dictionary, they mean the same thing. He's number one at both.
Well, can you just tell me if this is right, Bill?
The bubble sort looks right. We just need a new binary search method before we can move on to main. We'll just use console out and console in to ask the user which integer they want to search for, and a while loop to keep asking and searching for that integer by continually slicing the array in half until it gets to the value, as long as the user entered integer is not equal to -1.
So, we've got such an efficient searching algorithm, but an ass sorting algorithm.
I don't know, but all that's left is the main method. C++ always needs the main method to return int type for some goddamn reason, so it'll have to be an int main. Just initialize an array with 100 slots, a num variable, a count variable set to 0, and take in the key file. Use a for loop to print out the original array from the file. Call bubble sort and binary search, and use for loops to iterate through the new array and print each slot.
And we're returning 0 at the end, right?
You actually got something right, Joe.
Well, Donnie has been oddly silent for a while, so...
The subject changed from rape to comp sci. Of course, he's off his turf.
I literally have the highest grade out of all of you in ECS 36B. Joe, you literally fell asleep during that first midterm.
Fuck off. I was studying for my physics midterm, so I didn't get my necessary 11 hours of sleep.
ChatGPT does wonders for your grade, doesn't it? It's a surprise how you didn't get caught in class yet.
Bitch, we're literally all AI generations right now to represent political figures in a humorous way meant to possibly connect with miserable undergraduate engineering students at UC Davis. What's your point?
Fair point. We have to move on to calculus now. We have a lot of work to do.
Guys, I literally have no fucking idea what is going on in this class. The professor seems like a nice dude, but he covers so much damn material every day. So I just have to write down all of his shit without actually comprehending it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about visiting Monica tonight during today's lecture.
Oh, guys, I just remembered I have a colleague from UPenn who's a calculus professor. Maybe he can help us.
Ping him, Joe.
Missed me.
Oh shit, Joe, you weren't kidding about teaching at UPenn?
Except for one thing, I didn't meet him at UPenn. I met him when he was a hippie at Syracuse, and I was a visiting professor from Eureka, teaching Reaganomics and HIV apathy.
I'll screen share what we have to solve tonight.
So it looks like for our first problem, we need to evaluate this in spherical coordinates. God damn it.
Wait, what the fuck is rho and phi? I know what theta is, but I didn't remember signing up for a Greek language class when I signed up for 21D.
To answer your question, Donald, think of a 3D sphere centered at the origin in a three-dimensional graph. Rho would be the radius of the sphere in all directions, and phi would be the azimuthal, the angle between the z-axis and the line connecting the origin and the point.
Ron, you literally sound like ChatGPT right now. Are you reading off of a teleprompter?
Shut up, Donnie. That makes more sense now, Ronald. Now, when we set up the triple integral, is the function going to be the cosine of phi?
Yes, that would be correct, Billiam.
Don't call me that shit.
And the volume of each wedge is going to be rho squared sine phi d rho d phi d theta, right?
Precisely, Hussein.
Ha! I knew it. You're related to Saddam Hussein. Why don't you ever show us your birth certificate, you zesty tomato ass? Are you scared that you'll be named an enemy of the state?
How many times do I have to tell you I was born in Hawaii on August 4th, 1961?
Settle down, guys. Ronaldo is only here to help.
Thank you, Robinette Jr. If we set up the triple integral, we will have the outermost bound to go from 0 to 2 pi, to correspond with theta, pi over 6 to pi over 2, to correspond to phi, then 3 to 6, to correspond with rho. The function will be cosine of phi, followed by rho squared sine phi d rho d phi d theta.
First, by order of integration, we'll have to start with rho, so we can move the sine and cosine to the side, and integrate rho squared, which becomes rho cubed over 3 from 6 to 3. Solving that out algebraically, we get 189 over 3, which we can move to the front since it is a constant.
So that leaves us with sine and cosine of phi. Are we going to have to use integration by parts to get through this? This question seems harder than I was on the night I dethroned Melania.
You realize that Melania was a literal porn star before she met you, right, Donald? If anything, you weren't so memorable.
Fuck off, Barack. At least I'm not married to a literal man. Your husband literally has broader shoulders and biceps than you. I bet he can bench more than you.
Let's keep it together, guys. Ronald is here to help us.
Thank you, Josh. To answer your question, Mr. Bone Spurs, we can just use U substitution. We can set you equal to the sine of phi, and du would be cosine phi d phi. If we do that, we also have to change our bounds of integration. So pi over 6 plugged into sine would become 1/2, and pi over 2 would become 1. So our new inner integral becomes 1/2 to 1 u du.
That's so simple now. Once we integrate it, it becomes u squared over 2 from 1 to 1/2. Solving that algebraically, it becomes 3 over 8, so we can move that to the front as it is a constant. Once we multiply it to 189 over 3, the fraction becomes 189 over 8.
Precisely, Jojo. Now we only have to integrate 1 from 0 to 2 pi, which just becomes 2 pi. Multiply that to your fraction, and you get your answer, 189 pi over 4.
Wow, Ronald, you explained that so much better than our professor explained spherical coordinates in class today. Where was that brain of yours when you implemented Reaganomics and fucked up the American middle class harder than Donald clapped Stormy Daniels? And when you literally sold guns to terrorists in Iran and Central America? The absolute shit show of a government stage I inherited from your administration caused me to lust after a White House intern.
Yeah, I learned posthumously that Reaganomics is one of those things that sound good on paper, but fails in action. Kind of like socialism. And I think we need to spread freedom around, so I naturally sold arms to anyone who'd pay. But I legit didn't mean to fuck everyone's asses, so chill out, bro.
Yo guys, sorry I didn't see the Discord notification. I was just digging around in my Texas ranch for some weapons of mass destruction. I seem to have a feverish obsession with WMDs.
You didn't find any though, did you?
Nope. And I'm gonna keep digging until I find them. I'll kill 1 million moles and worms and destroy a ton of anthills if I have to.
1 million Iraqis, Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo Bay would like to comment.
Bitch, you literally voted to send the United States to Iraq when you were in the Senate. You have just as much blood on your hands as George.
Well, Barack isn't any better. I begged him not to send drone strikes to those villages in Yemen, but he wouldn't listen to me. He's so trigger happy.
Shut up, Joe.
Yeah, guys, I ditched the lecture today because I wanted to create some massive craters in my backyard. Can you guys help me with this second integration problem?
Not to worry, Georgie. I'm here to impart my wisdom to you. And conveniently, Josh here was about to move on to the second problem anyway, so you're in luck.
So, it looks like our second problem involves a change of variables, a double substitution.
I think we need to use a Jacobian determinant for this problem.
Wait, what the fuck is a Jacobian determinant?
The Jacobian determinant is the matrix of a vector-valued function of several variables in the matrix of all of its first-order derivatives. It gives us the ratio of the area of the approximating area to the original area.
In simple plain Texan English, George, the Jacobian determines how much the area expands or contracts when we go from x and y to u and v.
Let's first get x and y in terms of s and t. S and t will be our new variables. So first we can get x squared equals s minus t. We can assume that because s equals y, and y will just be equal to s from our given information.
Very good, Billiam. Now we must take the partial derivatives of x and y over s and t, so the matrix looks like that. The partial derivative of x with respect to s will be 1 over 2 rad s minus t, and x with respect to t is going to be negative 1 over 2 rad s minus t. Y with respect to s will just be 1, and y with respect to t will be 0. Computing the 2 by 2 matrix, we get 1 over 2 rad s minus t. The absolute value of that will just be whatever the fuck we got. So our volume of integration will be that times ds dt.
Now we need to find our new bounds of integration. Since y equals both 0 and 4, we can assume that the bounds for s will just be 0 to 4. T will be a little more tricky. We can utilize the equation t equals y minus x squared from our given. We can also derive from our other givens that y minus x squared equals both 0 and 9. Since y minus x squared equals t, we can say our t bounds are from negative 9 to 0.
Sharp eye, Donaldo? Many students struggle to find the bounds of integration from that. Setting up our integral, we have from negative 9 to 0, from 0 to 4, x times 1 over 2, rad s minus t ds dt.
We also need to replace x with rad s minus t because we are integrating with s and t. And luckily that cancels out the denominator.
And that means that this integral becomes so fucking easy to solve. Let's go.
Precisely. Josh is now going to speed run the algebra for this integral because I don't fucking care anymore. The answer should come out to 18.
Ah, perfect. Honestly, Ronald, I should just come to you instead of wasting my time in Geet. I'll have much more time to dig around for weapons of mass destruction. I might stick around in the call a little longer.
Yeah, I'll stick around too.
Did Joe fucking fall asleep? He's been really quiet.
No, I didn't, you obese slob. Jill was just getting me some ice cream, and she wanted to get frisky, but I need to do my homework.
Guys, I finally understand all this rho, theta, phi, triple integral shit, but I still don't know what the fuck is going on in physics. It's my least favorite class.
I literally can't fucking deal with Physics 9A anymore. The professor spends the entire lecture deriving irrelevant equations and formulas. I-clickers are stupid as shit, and they never goes over any problem solving and applications in class, so the entire class relies on a Discord server where homework analysis and conclusions are illegally and unethically shared. No one ever learned shit in that class. It's poetic how low our class averages are.
Oh, guys, we can invite my physics TA. He can help us with this subliminal horse shit. I'll ping him now.
Hey, boys, my name is John F. Kennedy, and I'm one of the physics TAs this year. George asked me to help, and so here I am.
We know who you are, John.
We're really hoping that you're more open-minded than our physics professor.
Hey, John, what's wrong with your goddamn mic? Why do you sound like you're from the 30s?
In my pursuit of knowledge, my meager salary as a physics PhD student leaves me tethered to use a brick of a Windows XP laptop and a potato for a microphone. I can't even afford to live in an apartment in Davis, so I have to live in a garbage can on the outskirts of campus. And my weak-ass internet connection stems from Edu Rome. I also can't afford groceries, so I have to steal Cheetos kibble from the side of the physics building to eat.
That's mind-blowing, John.
Honestly, John, the UC system really doesn't work in favor of our ways. I'm paying over $20,000 each quarter just to teach myself all of this shit. Every time I commute from my Florida residence, I have to study my ass off just in time to be ready when my private jet lands back in Davis every morning.
You commute from Florida, Donnie? I guess I know why you refuse to become Joe's roommate again.
Yeah, when your roommate sleeps 18 hours of the day and throws a fit every time you make a noise, you don't want to live with that shit again. When he is awake, he's always copulating with that fake doctor of a wife of his. Plus, I spend less commuting by private jet than if I was paying rent here in Davis. Fuck the students and fuck affordable housing, right?
Skill issue.
Imagine struggling with rent. Just be a software engineer at Google like me.
No, the fuck you aren't. You're a computer engineering student here at Davis, and your GPA is probably under a 3.0.
Guys, please. I know it absolutely sucks to be a Davis student sometimes, but we got to make the best of our situation. John is here to help us.
Yeah, I'm just here to help, guys. Chill out. Josh, let's see the problem. All right, it looks like a classic momentum problem. What do you guys think we can say about this problem?
Would linear momentum be conserved here since there are no external forces acting on the system? If so, we could break up the momentum into vector components.
Yeah, the initial momentum in the x direction would just be 2mv cosine 20, and the initial momentum in the y direction would just be 0 because the molecules are coming towards each other, so the y components cancel out.
Precisely right, my boys. Now for the final momentum of the combined balls, we can say that the x component would just be 3mvf, and y would be 0 as the object moves along the x-axis.
What does M stand for? Mass, McDonald's, meters? Does it matter how far the balls travel?
The M stands for mass, Donald. As for distance, it would be irrelevant. The balls could travel 3 meters or 300 meters, but we wouldn't know.
Ha ha! You said balls. Yeah, I bet there are 300 meters between Jackie's eyes. She could play Ariel in that new Little Mermaid movie.
Fuck off, King Henry. At least my wife isn't a gold digger. Do you want my help or not?
Sorry, John.
What most people fail to understand is that we can set the two momentums equal to each other due to the law of conservation of momentum. We would get the final velocity equal to 2/3 v cosine of 20.
I guess I can just write the initial and final kinetic energy equations down as well.
Yeah, that looks right, I think.
Once you do that, you can subtract the final minus initial to find delta E thermal. If I'm not wrong, you should get mv squared times 1 minus 2/3 cosine squared theta.
You're right, George.
And once we do that, we can divide E thermal by E before, which is just mv squared, to find the fraction of the original energy of the system that became thermal. Joe, what did you get?
I got 1 minus 2/3 times the cosine of 20 squared.
I'll put it into my calculator. The ratio seems to be 0.411.
There you go, boys. All you needed was a positive energy mindset and a prod in the right direction.
John, I have another physics problem I need some help with. You mind? The 6th floor corner window of the Texas School Book Depository in downtown Dallas is roughly 130 feet tall. A hunter stands in the window and watches a motorcade below. The hunter aims at a car, but the car is traveling at 5 miles per hour, and the angular rate of change is 0.2 degrees per second. Given the car starts 300 feet away from the building, find the speed at which the hunter must shoot to hit.
Oh, what the fuck is wrong with you, Donald? I will put my foot so far up your ass, you'll taste it.
What? I'm just trying to like getting worps, zeraboxel skola?
What? What?
SDFGD for your need
Well, thank God I'm not a Davis undergraduate engineering student.